Hey sassy friends, Sandra here and welcome to my channel, The Sassy Club, and we're going to be doing a plan with me, duh, by the title of this video. And pretty much the song that should be playing is like, Sandra's back, alright! Yeah, I know, I need to get better about posting more regularly for you guys, but I promise I am working on that. It's just the struggle is real. So yeah, I'm just starting off and I pulled out the pages from my planner. Most of you guys know I generally do this because it's easier to plan that way. And then I cut these two strips off camera that are going to be for my header. They're not like perfectly lined up, but I just cut off the edges. I decided to use some watercolor to kind of make my own header strips. You could also do this if you have stickers for that kind of thing, but I kind of just enjoy making my own header strips and kind of getting a little artsy. So I pulled up my much loved watercolor palette and I actually picked up this at Michael's. It was like $5 and you could probably find this in like any store because it's like just a generic watercolor palette that's like cheap, and I like the way that it works, so it works for me. I have many different types of watercolors, but for certain things I really feel like you can really get away with using pretty cheap ones unless you're like doing something really super messing. So yeah, I just kind of went with this and I'm just kind of creating an abstract pattern. I really love the way kind of like random patterns look. I am trying to match them up so that each strip kind of looks like it goes together, and then I'm just setting those aside while they finish off drying, and then I'm going to be stamping some letters out, and then I'm going to be die cutting them. I wanted to do some die cutting on camera for you guys so you could kind of understand the process that goes into it, since I haven't really done much of that. Even though I do talk about dies on the Sassy Club, I know not everyone is aware of how that kind of works, so I figured I'd show it on camera. And I'm just going ahead and stamping out these letters, and you could do multiple letters at a time like you see me doing here. The beauty of being able to do multiple letters at a time is that later on you could have a little stash of letters built up, so you don't have to die cut every single time you plan or every single time you plan on using them. So I'm using some wire cutters to cut this off the little wires that you see here. It's really easy to do. Just make sure that you hold your letters so it doesn't fly away like it just did there. I'm working on a platform that has a magnet, so basically it's keeping all of those letters in place and making it super easy for me to line those up and just get them exactly where I want them without them moving around. So that's something that I definitely recommend if you have any sort of die cutting machine, or if you plan on getting a Sizzix like the one that I use. I will try to have links for these things in the description box below for you guys so that you can go and pick those up. But basically the base that I'm working on has some sort of magnet on it that keeps all of those in place, and it makes it a heck of a lot easier, I can guarantee you that. So it's really nice and it works with all kinds of dies. So now that I just ran it through one time, as you saw right there, and I just hand cranked it, it's not electric, you don't need to have it plugged in. There you have it. Like, how cute is that? You have your own letter just perfectly cut out. And sometimes it is easier than having to cut them by hand, though you can do that because you guys have seen me do that before. It is kind of like a nice, easier way of doing it without having to do all that much work, so that's kind of nice. So now I'm gluing down these headers, and I'm just using my Tombow Mono Multi adhesive, but you can use any glue you have. I just really like this one because I know that whatever I glue down is never coming back up. So yeah, and then I'm just cutting off all the extra little paper bits, and yeah, pretty much just doing what I normally do if you guys have watched my planner videos before, and just cutting off the edges, being careful not to cut the actual paper itself. And then I'm going to repeat that same step on the other side of the paper as well. And I have been sick for the last week again. So if you hear it in my voice, I apologize ahead of time. I'm also using my Crocodile, but you can use any hole punch to create the holes, because once you do put that header, it does cover the actual Happy Planner hole. So you're going to want to re-punch that and then just add a little slit so that you can put that back onto your planner after you're done planning and decorating. So right now I'm just going ahead and just laying out my letters exactly where I want them. And you know, I was originally going to color them, but I decided to kind of just stick with the black and white and pink theme. I just really liked it, and generally I go really crazy with my colors, so I thought it'd be fun to do something a little bit more understated and simple. And when I say simple, I mean simple for me, because I know simple for some people is way more simple than what I'm doing, but that just depends on the person and their preference for how they like to kind of style their pages. So I don't think there's any wrong way to plan, nor any right way to plan. I think it's whatever you like and whatever's functional and fun for you. So now I'm going ahead and adding little black dots all over these headers. I felt like I wanted just a little something more. And again, I love abstract patterns that have kind of like misshapen and not perfectly round or the same pattern. So I kind of tried to create sort of that same thing without trying to make it too perfect, because that's always the struggle, is trying to make the patterns look too identical but while still having them match. And then I pulled out this sticker from an old set of stickers I had from Heidi Swapp that I've literally had I don't even know how long. I just kind of randomly found them and was like, oh, these go well with my theme. And then I had this washi that's actually releasing February 9th on TheSassyClub.com, and it's one of the new washis that I designed for basically the month of February. I just love it though because it has rose gold, and I just think it's gorgeous whether or not you use it during, you know, the month of February or not. I love hearts all year round, you guys might know this, and pink and rose gold. So I'm using that, and then I'm just layering this other washi sheets that I had. Those other washi sheets aren't really the greatest, so just a fair warning. They kind of have the same issue that Little Bee washi has, where it kind of comes up at the edge. But off camera, I did end up sticking some some glue on the edges of these to keep them down because the little bits kept wanting to come back up. So. And then I'm using that Be Mine stamp set, which is one of the last releases that I had. And by Be Mine, I mean I heart you. I don't know why I just called it a random name for my other stamp sets. I also have a die that is releasing in the month of February as well, February 9th, that matches all the dies from my last release. So for those of you that picked that up, just a heads up that I will have 3 new dies for 3 of the new stamp sets. And I'm cutting this by hand simply to show you that you can, in case, you know, you don't want to get a die or you don't have the means to do so. But again, the dies are very easy, as you saw before. I'm also doing some coloring on camera because I've gotten questions before about my coloring. So if you guys kind of like me to show what I'm doing in the colors I'm using, then give me a heads up. I'm just using those 2 colors of orange that you just saw on the screen, keeping it pretty simple for the most part. I tend to stick to the same colors a lot because they're just my favorite colors, and I'm sticking with blending the lighter first and then the darker on top, and then I'm just adding some of the purple to the glasses and her little t-shirt just because I really love that shade. And then I just decided to make her bow the same color as her, so those same R colors from the Copic markers. And it probably would have been easier to color her had I not cut her out first, just another heads up on that, but I just wanted to just get that done with and have it ready to go. And as you can see, I'm just adding some glue and then just sticking her right down, and she's so cute. And then I'm deciding whether they're hearts I want to use from the same set, because I'm kind of obsessed with this set. It's like having heart emojis, like who wouldn't want some of those? So I really love it. And I'm just deciding on, I knew I wanted to use him in particular. I don't know why I'm calling him a him, but he has lashes. But I decided to try to color him first with watercolors and then realized I'm using a pigment ink, which isn't necessarily compatible with watercolors, so don't do that. So then I just decided to cut out a piece of paper to layer it over it to cover it, and then I just used the same colors that I used on the first heart, again that R20 and R22, just because that way they kind of just match. And then I decided, let me pull some ephemera out of my stash because I'm trying to get better at using things that I have in my stash. And I figured, you know, black and white and pink go really well with florals, but then again, what doesn't? I mean, I don't know, I love them. So I thought this would look really cute in the corner there. And even though it's adding kind of an element of green because of the leaves, I felt like it still wasn't too much that it threw off my layout. And then I had that little piece of like leaf filigree that was also from that same ephemera set, which is just some papers that I had left over from like a scrapbooking kit that I had. So I thought I would use that in there, and then I just cut off the edge, and it has black and white. So again, I'm staying with that same theme. And then I'm just pulling out my favorite little script pen, but I have a few favorites. I'm going to be doing a video on that for you guys really soon. And so I decided to use that on Valentine's so I could just write Chase and Sandra. That's my husband's name. So I put that there. And then I decided I also wanted to use one of the little sayings from this set on those first couple days that I didn't have anything going on anyway. And then I'm using the unicorn pink ink from the Sassy Club as well. Again, I will have links to my shop in the description box below for you guys, for anyone interested. But I just really love the way that looks. And then I'm just doing a little bit more script throughout this layout because you guys know I can't help myself with that. I just find it really fun, and I feel like it gives it a very unique and fun little aspect to do that as well. And yeah, I just love it, so there's not much more I can say about that. I decided to kind of try to make the letters just slightly different, but they kind of look pretty similar. But yeah, that was my attempt at that. I'm trying to play around with fonts and stuff because I normally do that pretty often in like my everyday sketchbook, but not necessarily in my planner as much. So I kind of wanted to do that more often for you guys. And then I'm using this little heart trio that is from the Marshmallow stamp set, which is also from my last release. And I thought it would just be fun to kind of just add these little hearts kind of like scattered about to just make it look kind of like a random little print on there. I just thought that would look really cute, and I really like the way that it looks and turned out. If anything, I kind of want to add a little bit more. And then I wanted to add a little marshmallow just like going ham, just like, hey, I'm hanging out here. And I decided not to color him in because again, I wanted to leave some of that black and white theme throughout this layout, and I've seen other people do this before where they also leave things uncolored and they honestly still look really cute. So I kind of wanted to have a mixture of both. I did that heart off camera. And again, this is just obviously to mark the Sassy Club release, which is on the 9th. And I thought it'd be really cute to put that little heart making like a kissy face, and I thought that looked adorable. So I used that. And again, I really love this pen. I will try to have it linked in the description box for you guys. I generally use the same sort of pens and sometimes I go back and forth, but for videos, I just always have this one in the same spot. So it ends up being the one I use and I like it. So. And yeah, I just love doodling as well. I feel like it adds an extra little touch. So I'll do a mixture of stamps and doodles, and then sometimes stickers as well, as you guys know. But I just added like little black hearts and then that little word bubble. And then I'm using the Planet stamp set. It has a little TV in it, so I thought it'd be fun to add like a little TV to mark certain shows that are coming back for me. You guys know I don't normally like super plan out my month a ton ahead of time. I like to mark certain things, but like a lot of times when I do these videos, there's things that I generally add back in again, or I'll add as I find out about them, if that makes sense. So that's why a lot of times I don't have a million things kind of marked in here. So, and then I added that little stamp, the Chill Pill stamp, and it's also from that same Planet stamp set. And then I was just making sure that I remember to pick up a prescription that I had waiting for me at Walgreens. So I was like, let me mark that. That one's kind of important. And again, I'm just adding more ephemera, that pink little flower. Die cut is also from that same pack of random stuff I had left in my stash, so I don't necessarily remember all of it. And then I used the little arm from the Happy Mail set because I thought it'd be fun to mark that day because I actually have to go to the post office that day. And you guys didn't see me stamp the words post office, but it's also from that same set, just so you know. And this actual image I stamped with archival ink, so I was able to watercolor on it. So that's just a little thing for you to remember. If you do pigment, then you don't want to use watercolors. You can do it with archival black ink, which I will link, and then the Sassy Club black ink is pretty much better for Copic markers and things like that, but you can heat set it and then it would be available for you to use with watercolors, but you'd have to kind of like heat set and emboss it in order to do that. So of course I had to mark The Walking Dead. Come on now, someone wants to see Negan die. That sounds so bad, but he does such a good job at that character that, like, come on. And if you're not watching The Walking Dead, you know what? It's on Netflix. They have all the seasons. Catch up, friends. It's a really good show. I really loved that show, so I'm really hoping for a really good season, and I'm hoping none of my favorite characters die since a bunch of them already died last season. So I added a bunch of hearts to create a border, as you saw me doing there as I was going on for my love of Walking Dead. I generally do that, and I use my post-it note tape because I know it won't damage my paper, and you can usually reuse those strips that you cut for your whole layout that you're doing, and they'll stay pretty sticky. I'm using this floral heart that is actually from last year, I believe, from my Be Mine stamp set, which I actually restocked for this month because I had lots of requests. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can. I love that floral heart. I feel like it basically works for any time of the year, and it's just kind of really cute. And I did actually draw every one of those little details of those hearts, so yeah. I think it's so cool to be able to just stamp it in different colors like that, and I figured it gave it a little extra something to my pages because you can still write over those floral hearts and a lot of the stuff that you stamp, as long as you stamp it in a color that's light enough for you to see through, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then now I'm just adding a quote to this page because a lot of times if I don't have necessarily like plans set in stone for the month, I like to just kind of have fun and do quotes and kind of doodle on my monthly spread. And then I figure if I really have something super important coming up, I can always write it down in my weekly layouts. So if I can talk, you guys know what I mean. You're used to this rambling of mine. So yeah, I'm just basically putting a verse from the Bible that I really like. I'm not doing like the full-on verse, but I just liked it because it went with February theme. We love because he first loved us. So I thought that was just really cute and super appropriate. But obviously, if you're not into that kind of stuff, you could always do a quote from your favorite author and make it kind of go with the theme of the month for you. So I thought that was really fun. And then I decided to add little hearts because yeah, I love hearts. So no excuse needed. And now I'm making little banners using that same washi, and I just thought it would add like a little extra something to have little banners on there. And I'm just creating that little fishtail by cutting one strip upward first and then cutting the sides so it's more lined up, because if not, my fishtail banners come out really wonky, so I always have to kind of cut a slit first and then go around it. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I thought they'd look really cute as little banners, so I went ahead and did that, and then also added the little leftover strips of that black striped one that I had cut thinner. So because I figured, you know what, waste not want not, like I already have it left over there, so I might as well use it while it matches with the spread, because then I probably won't use it ever again. So that's usually how things go in my house. So anyway, you guys, I hope you liked this spread. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want to pick up anything that you saw me use here, then you can be sure and check me out on TheSassyClub.com, which is my website. I'm going to be also posting blogs on there for this time of year. And if you just loved seeing this video, be sure and just like this video and subscribe if you get the chance, and also follow me on my other social medias, which will be linked in the description box below. And if you create anything, you can use the hashtag TheSassyClub and find me at sandraspitaleri.com. There will be links down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Hey sassy peeps, don't forget February 9th is my new release, and the first 100 people to order will get this freebie unicorn stamp, and that is subject to a minimum amount ordered. And then there are the 3 stamp sets that are releasing in this mini release that are going to be absolutely adorable, as well as some sticker sets as well, and some acrylic charms, as you will see here. All of these are stamp sets. This Pop-Tart stamp set is going to be so cute, you guys are gonna love it, as well as new sassy acrylic charms that are sure to make your planner look fabulous. So you're not going to want to miss out, you guys. Again, don't forget TheSassyClub.com. Thanks guys. Bye.